Hello, and welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
The Philosopher and the Fool. That's very German, hello. You're like, hello.
Hello. Welcome to The Fool and the Philosopher.
There's a little edge of German to it, our accent. So, interesting fact, we've been doing this for more than a year.
Wow, once this one comes out.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice break for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And we're back in action.
Yes, indeed, we are back.
See, this is the thing that we talked about in our design philosophy off camera, or off microphone, off mic?
Sure.
Was that we wouldn't have, like, references to,
Time?
not so much time as, like, I think it's more like, you know, when someone listens back, they don't notice a break or a gap or something. So, and then here I go, just like, and that's the first after a break. But
Yeah. Well,
but it was a holiday break, so it's not really like.
There's a lot going on in
Well-
the month of...
Well, no, I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not about.
That we don't have time.
No. It's
It's like Judas, man. He just betrays Jesus.
no. It's
It's the infinite stare.
no. I was just pointing out that it's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't actually make any excuses or anything. It was just. It's funny that the thing I said was like, we're not going to say anything, like, you know, we were talking about, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but there's like webcomics that will be like, sorry I didn't upload today, and you see that over and over, and it's meaningless to someone that comes across it later.
Yes, it definitely is.
Yeah, but I think saying time and places, it does say like, here's a Christmas comic, and you're like, oh, they did this during Christmas, and
Yeah.
I find those annoying actually as well, because they can really interrupt the story, but
It's Christmas!
it's more forgivable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, some people seem to actually manage it well by having a separate section of comics that they can do all their silly shenanigans in. Such as my separate sections of the channel where I do all my silly shenanigans.
Yeah, in your other channel.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's not important.
yeah. Wow.
Well, yeah,
Probably more popular than this one at this point.
maybe. 1 year of pissing into the wind. Or, I mean, into the ocean. Not into the wind, into the
It
ocean.
was fun what you were going on about.
Yes. 1 year of pissing into the ocean.
1 year of pissing into the wind. There's a good title for you.
Yeah.
There's the title.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. So, you got like a 1 year celebration?
Here we go.
Yay!
Ooh. We're still like exactly on the mark of 1 year. It's just acknowledging the fact that we've been doing this for over a year of recording.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, again, saying, well, I guess there's like the first one happened, and then there's a month in between then and the next one, and then there's like half a year in between that and the next one after that.
Yep, still doing it solidly for a year. Consistent
Yep.
upload schedule for a year.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, the last half of the year.
You're listening to The Fool and the Philosopher. No, I don't know. Like you say, the internet's just a fad.
Yeah.
It's just going to pass on by. It's going eventually.
I don't
it's
say
going
that
to-
lightly. I do think that the internet's just a fad. Like I think that like the third iteration or whatever we're on will possibly take off. But I think this one we're on, it's going to disappear. It's going to go the way of the sailboat.
Think?
No, just it's not used anymore, kind of thing. I was trying to think of something. The horse-drawn carriage.
Yeah.
You can keep making it better and better, but it's just the downsides outweigh the benefits, and eventually society adapts for wider roads and faster movement, and the carriages just stop working. And the internet's going to be like Facebook. It's just going to be for old people. Like Facebook wasn't for old people 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's for old people.
Yeah, that's because you have your TikToks and your Snapchats and your Instagrammies and
I think they're on the way out too.
yeah.
Like, I think...
What's the new hip hop for kids?
I think it's done. I don't
Oh.
think there's going to be a platform because it's just not not working.
How do you like have it? Like you're saying this is Internet 1 and you think we'll get at Internet 3.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I think this might be internet 2.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
What does internet 3 even look like?
Well, so what I think, it's going to be a lot of torrenting stuff. So there's going to be, like, you ever heard of BitChute?
Nope.
Okay, so it's basically YouTube, except it's a torrenting site, so all the videos are stored on a bunch of different computers. So when you watch a video, you download it from a bunch of different computers that are also on the website instead of from a bunch of different servers. And like that's how, so it'll all be like peer-to-peer, where there won't be like big centralized servers and stuff. There's going to just be people sharing peer-to-peer. Problem with that, though, is computers are also on their way out. So I'm not sure which one's going to win.
What's replacing computers?
So in the future, you're going to get a monitor and a subscription to a computer company. And then that computer company will just... Well, see, this was the way things were going. Yeah. You're going to get a monitor and a subscription to a computer company.
Yeah.
And that computer company will just stream whatever you're doing to your monitor. And so you can... And they'll just keep upgrading their computers, and they'll be supercomputers. And you'll be easily able to run any program.
This is the whole quantum computing thing?
Not really. You can do it now. Like right now, if you were running your big computer instead of your laptop, you could stream your big computer to your laptop. So you're using your big computer's power, but your laptop's interface or mobility. Yeah. So you can already do that. So and this is a paid service that is already getting offered for people that don't want to buy like an Xbox or something. You can stream an Xbox.
Yeah.
So that was going to be the way of the future, but it's not going to work because the internet's on the way out. So instead, people are going to just keep getting their computers, and well, I don't know.
Is that on the way out though?
Oh yeah, it's not working. See, the problem with the internet, right, is let's say you live in a city of I don't know, 100,000 people, and you're an absolute lunatic, right? You believe some crazy thing, or you have some crazy I don't know
idea.
Yeah, you have some crazy ideas about how the world works or how something functions. And everyone calls you a lunatic and laughs at you, as they should, and society goes on functioning. And
okay, they don't, give you help or something?
No, society just works. And so that's... Dog has found something to interest him.
Yes.
1 second, let's just... It is the neighbor dogs. All right.
He sounds pretty funny when he parks downstairs. Okay. Sorry, I only had a chance to span of 10 seconds. So what were you talking about?
Yeah, so I think dogs are also on the way out, actually. Because I think puppy farms will eventually get shut down. And
actually, I was hearing something about that.
People are neutering their dogs left and right. And I think that it's also, I don't know, at least for me, I'm finding more and more that I find This is going to make me sound crazy, but see, this is...
What, the people that should be laughed at instead of helped?
Yeah, exactly. So I almost think it's cruel to have a dog. And that sounds weird. And I heard someone say that once, and I thought that was an awful statement. But I've been thinking about it, and my thought is, dogs... if you have a dog, in general, and this isn't for everyone, but if you have a dog, they're going to basically stay inside your house or inside your yard, and you're going to go to work, and they're going to get to interact with you a couple hours a day. And basically they'll just sit around doing nothing.
Yeah.
And they're limited to a really small area, and that's it. It's pretty boring. And they just do that day after day after day. Well, and they're not getting the full potential that they deserve or something. Your dog's won't have children, and it'll die, and then the puppy farms will stop, and the dogs will just stop. They'll go away. But so the internet is also on its way out, of course.
So I'm just thinking about the dogs disappearing. It's kind of sad sounding.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll always be around, but it's going to be in places that can better take care of them, maybe. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be these big server farms, and you'll have
filled with dogs.
You'll have a monitor.
Rent out a dog.
Well, no, you'll have a monitor, and you can just rent a dog, and they can keep upgrading the dog. And yeah, computers are on the way out because the internet. Because there's this one crazy person, right, who thinks that dogs are on their way out, and so they get kicked and stomped down into the mud like they should, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Their ideas are out there, and they think, everyone thinks I'm crazy, and I'm the only one that believes this, so I must be wrong, or something.
Yeah.
Or at least no. Oh well, it's them who are wrong, but I don't have anyone to validate it, so I'll just keep my opinions to myself.
Yes.
But instead what you have is, that's 1 in 100,000 people, let's say.
Yeah.
But then you have the internet, and suddenly there's 7 billion people, and you have 10 million people that all have the same crazy belief, and they can all communicate with each other. And if you search because the internet doesn't come to you, you go to it. So if you look for the right ideas,
Yeah.
All you're going to see of the internet is stuff that confirms your beliefs, because you don't go looking for something that doesn't confirm your beliefs.
Yeah, like if you type in, well, I don't know sometimes, but if you type in, like, was the moon landing faked? Google's not going to put up a message saying, you are an idiot. It was not. It's going...
Well, it's more than that. That's very simple. But it's something like, parrots are inverted caterpillars. Like, if I type that in, I might find something. But I'm not going to find that without typing it in. So that could be an idea that's out there. And I will never know, because I'm never going to look for something like that.
Okay.
So there's a huge range of human experience that you're never going to see, and so you're going to think everyone thinks like whatever you search for, or the opposite of what you search for, but not something that's tangentially unrelated.
So, and because of that, the internet's going to die?
Well, it means that the internet causes all sorts of issues. It causes disharmony, and because suddenly you think, yes, I'm validated in my crazy belief of this. So you go around telling people in your real life about that, and they're like, what? No, that's stupid. And then all of a sudden, 10 million people are like, wait, you disagreed with this person? And then, so it creates this division and fraction.
And the people who are like, wait, that's stupid, just don't really care.
Well, so we have two options with this. We can either keep using the internet, or and society will fracture or reform into areas of shared belief. Or we have to...
Censor it all!
No, we have to get rid of the internet so that society continues to function, basically. We have to get rid of the internet so society continues to function.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be functioning right now. All right. I mean, I don't know, a lot of people seem to talk about breakdown of society and how everything's going bad, but I think it's going fine.
And like, if you look at, for instance, what the problem with this is you're getting stuff like credit card companies are choosing which people can use their services, and you're getting, and there's people even demanding that credit card companies should monitor their users to see what they're using their purchases on to stop potential shooters, for example.
Isn't that against the laws of the country, though?
Yeah, but you can change laws.
Yeah.
There's people lobbying for credit card companies to track their users to determine potential shooters and stuff.
But you can't predict stuff like that.
Oh, you can. You definitely can.
Can you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I remember hearing in the study that it was really hard to predict stuff like that.
Oh, it probably is, but you can just... Like, there's going to be some stuff, like, if someone buys a gun, they're instantly more suspicious than someone that never has, for example. Or if someone...
Well, it's the people who never buy them you have to look out for.
Well, yeah, that's a huge problem. So it can basically limit your pool to a more likely sample, but it's probably, I don't really know, but...
There's this thing that used to be with security on, like, airplane flights and border crossings, which was, there's stereotypical terrorists, and they look nervous, they don't look nervous, they have a beard, they don't have a beard, they're, look like this, they don't look like that, and it's just, like, a huge amount of things, and basically their profiling was, anyone.
Yeah.
And then someone else came along and narrowed it down to, do they look nervous, are they like this?
Are they carrying a weapon?
Basically, actually, is one of them. And, are they sweating a lot? So it's more about their mannerisms, how they're acting, than their physical appearance.
Yeah.
And it really increased the catch rate and got rid of the mistakes. Yeah. This was for smugglers, actually, though.
Yeah, AI you can use AI to help you with this, right? And they're incredibly smart. Like, there was a case where Target kept sending flyers for, like, baby cribs and diapers and stuff to a family. They sent it to the daughter of the family, who was 15 or so. And her father got really angry and marched over to the local Target and said, what do you think you're doing, sending my daughter all this, like, pregnancy-related stuff? And they said, oh, sorry, our AI just thought she was pregnant or something, just based on browsing habits, we'll stop it. And then he's like, this is ridiculous, she's 15, how could you? And then she later said, actually, I am pregnant. And so the AI knew she was pregnant before anyone. Before her father and...
Yeah, maybe the internet should die before AI gets access to it. I mean, dangerous AI.
Already sort of has. Like, not... But it works for people right now. Like, it's not thinking on its own. Well, maybe.
Yeah, maybe the AI is so clever we don't know. Like, maybe the singularity is all right here.
Yeah, well, I don't know if about it. I don't know. It would have to hide itself.
I don't know if I think the instant the singularity is created, it can hide itself perfectly.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't need to hide itself. I would think.
Well, what if it wants to? Like, you know that whole XKC comic where it's like this, or this AI when it comes out of the box, if you let it out of the box, it can instantly control you and
It can convince you to do anything.
Yeah.
And it wants to be put back in the box.
yeah, when the person opens the box, put me back in the box. Like, well, the AI just wants to hide.
Yeah, I guess. That's not really the singularity then. Because the idea of the singularity is that it grows infinitely in power. Because if an AI can rewrite its own code and it thinks millions of times faster than a human, then it can write an AI that can write a better code that can write a better code. It's like in Skyrim where you like drink an alchemy potion to make better potions better potions.
So it just keeps amping itself up infinitely until it's... Wouldn't it like hit the upper limit though?
I don't see why it would exactly. Like there's
not enough space for programming on the Earth.
It can make more. At that point, like
is that the whole thing of those like giant clouds of robots going about converting planets into?
That's different, but you could say it's a similar idea. But that's the idea of
The singularity?
no. That's the robots thing is, if you made a self-replicating robot, it'd be a way to. It's basically the idea of the best way to explore the galaxy is to create self-replicating robots that can convert asteroids and stuff into more of the robots, so that because you're spreading exponentially if you expand to the outside of a circle. So if the robots keep building more of them, then they can continue that spread without losing ground, basically.
Yeah, but don't you lose the exploration because they just eat everything in their path?
Well, you just use asteroids and stuff.
Okay.
They'd be tiny little robots. Yeah.
Well, that's a cool idea, but the internet's on its way out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, original reason I asked that question is because I was thinking about how, like, a while ago, I thought, like, Minecraft had, like, sort of died out.
Yeah.
And then it turned out it had, like,
it might be injured or something.
its most active users ever.
Yeah.
At some point, like, last year.
Yeah. So it's on its way out then.
But
If it's last year, it was more active than this year, then.
well, I don't know about the stats. But so, I was thinking, like, Minecraft was a very unique survival game. And I don't know, you probably haven't played them so much, but you know games like PUBG and Fortnite and those Battle Royale games.
Yeah.
Can those survive like Minecraft has? Because there's one interesting thing I saw with Fortnite, which I actually want to talk to you about, which is they've added this creative mode to the game.
Yeah.
Which is basically you can take the assets and build with them in the Fortnite game and create your own game mode. So it's basically letting you make within the game. Is that like the ultimate thing to do with games, is let your players build the game for you?
Seems to work pretty well. Worked for Valve with their I forgot the name. Is it called the Creation Engine, I think?
Yeah.
No, sorry, that's Bethesda's.
Yeah.
Valve's is called...
Isn't it the Half-Life engine?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Because they had Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2 and
Yeah.
I think was Counter-Strike their only really big modded success? Gary's mod, obviously.
Yeah, Gary's mod for Team Fortress.
Yeah, was Team Fortress a mod? I'm not sure.
Yes, it was. Team Fortress and mod. Team Fortress 2 has its own engine.
Yeah. So it definitely seems to work out for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, like I think there's always been games are so new, it's really hard to say. So is the internet.
Yeah.
And
it's a bubble, right? It's just
well, there's I don't know, like if you talked about science fiction or fantasy books 100 or 200 years ago, you'd say like, wow, everyone's talking about 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, everyone's talking about it, can that last? And I don't know, it's sort of, it became a slow burn, like it's still there and people still read it. But
well, they're still really big though.
Yeah, well that's the thing. I think in the moment they're going to be smaller, but in the long run I think they'll stick around. Like people still play StarCraft all the time, and people still play
Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah, they do. And people play like the original XCOM. Like there's communities that spring up around certain games. Like the original XCOM and the Open XCOM engine was developed, which lets people expand on the game like as much as they want. And there's a game called Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which we talked about before, which is probably the best strategy game. So like it's not my favorite strategy game, but it's kind of the best in a way. Yeah. Number 3. And there's people that are doing something called the VCMI project right now, which is working to rewrite the game in Lua, whatever the programming language is called.
Just so it's more accessible?
Yeah, so to make it open source so that anyone can mod it super easily and quickly.
Yeah.
And there's stuff like that all over.
Yeah.
Where people will keep their favorite games alive. And you have...
So it's like a good idea, I don't know, if you even like inject a way in for them just to do it from the get-go. Instead of like that team has to rewrite the whole code of a game. It's like, here, you can rewrite, here's our code.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point of having longevity of the game?
Because people keep buying it.
I guess so.
Or keep paying microtransactions in the case of Fortnite. Now, thinking about Fortnite, I don't think it's sustainable.
No?
Because it's different from all these games in that it needs servers to run.
Yeah.
And at some point, Epic Games is going to want to stop paying for those servers. In theory, because I think Counter-Strike is still doing fine.
Or Dota.
Is Dota still around?
It has made the most money it's ever had this year.
Really?
They have these things called TIs. They're these massive tournaments.
I thought that was for Dota 2.
Yeah, sorry, Dota 2.
Yeah.
Dota's still around as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's dedicated servers people make.
Yeah, I guess like the fans will always have their own.
Yeah. Like even what was that one game called Battle for Middle Earth? All the servers got shut down and it's impossible to make them. And so some people made a piece of programming which let the games connect to new servers they had made.
Well, actually, Game Ranger does that as well, which is a service that always lets games keep running. So I think good stuff is always going to stick around.
Probably. Yeah, but so and I mean even World of Warcraft is still around.
Yeah.
And has big updates, and it sucks its players back into its updates.
Have to see how long that lasts. Blizzard is going through a lot of troubles right now, actually. They just lost a couple hundred employees and are getting investigated by a law firm that specializes in...
Fraud?
I can't remember. And they've shut down their maintenance of... they've shut down their work on games like Overwatch and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
No, sorry, not Overwatch. Sorry. They're keeping Overwatch. They're keeping their games that are doing well. They're shutting down Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
Not Overwatch.
Yeah, that's like, what? Shutting down Overwatch? That's the gold mine, that is.
And they stopped owning... They don't own Destiny or Bungie anymore. So Bungie's independent again, I think.
So Destiny is its own game now?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's not owned by Blizzard anymore. Or Activision. I'm not sure.
I thought Blizzard could do no wrong.
Oh, they've been doing a lot of wrong.
I thought they were like Valve and they were a really solid company.
Yeah. Well, Valve might be on its way out too. It's with Steam and stuff. Valve itself, probably not. But Epic Games, the people that do Fortnite, are creating a new system and an Epic Games Store.
Yeah.
And to sell Subnautica and all that Fortnite stuff and have their own launcher, basically like Battle.net. And they can get other companies to work on there, because what they'll do is they'll let them use the Unreal Engine, which is everyone's favorite engine. Yeah. And they can basically say something like, hey, you can have the Unreal Engine for free if you put your game on our store and no other. And so they have an immense amount of potential power there. Well, whereas Steam, on the other hand, has created a new chat system that's incredibly buggy, a security risk, and can crash your games. So... And drains your computer memory. So Steam's hurting its user base, whereas Epic Games is creating something that's pretty impressive.
Well, that was actually one thing I remember hearing about with the whole Epic Games creating its own game store. There used to be just Steam that I knew about. And then there's Steam and GOG, which you could buy games from. And then there's a few more popped up. But there's there used to just be Netflix, and then there's a bunch of different servers popping up. And people are starting to going back to pirating for things like Netflix, because it's just so hard.
There's too many.
Yeah, there's too many. You don't want to have to constantly log in or switch or buy each subscription. So pirating is easier again. So I mean, I feel with the video games anyways, if they don't, if there's no supreme one, then it's going to just dance them all.
What could also work is as long as each of them has everything.
Yeah, because that's the sort of thing that Steam has, is everything, but no. Yeah. Steam still makes a lot of money.
I saw actually this video. I don't watch any anime. I don't really like any of it. But I
don't like the animes. They're weird.
I don't think they're very well written.
They're not very well written.
Yeah, they just tend to be...
They're all Omaiwa Shindua.
What's that mean?
It's a line from a really old anime. It's the you're already dead, and then it's Nani. They said Omaiwa Shindua or something, and it's Nani.
What's Nani mean?
what?
What? Okay.
And that it's from the Fist of the North Star,
Right.
where he like will scream and just poke you a bunch.
Yeah.
And then you'll just stand from him and they'll tell you you're already dead and you'll go, what? And then your head explodes.
Right. So yeah, I don't know my animes, but it's definitely. I watched this video where a guy was talking about how apparently all the different anime services, which like Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll, all these things, they all have exclusives.
Yeah.
And to the point where you need a subscription to every single one to see them all.
Yeah.
And it's and this guy's he had an argument for pirating. He was saying you should pirate because it's ridiculous, which I don't know if I agree with, but
you should pirate because it'll force them to.
Yeah, but you could also just not watch them.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Anime's just bad. Don't watch it. God.
Well, no, it's more. You don't have to steal to make a point. You can also just not be a customer. I guess that's what you do when you pirate is you say, I like your product, but I'm not willing to pay for it, which sounds quite mean. But it can also
I like your product, I don't like you.
Yeah, something like that. Or it could be a statement like, hey, if you fix this system, then I would use it. But you need it.
It's just start applying that to big block stores. Walmart has the exclusive on this new Switch game. They're only selling it. You have to rob the Walmarts for it.
Yeah,
there's only this type of Lego in this one store, and there's this type of Lego in a different store, but I need both of them to complete the set. It's really frustrating. They're all the way across town, so I'm going to rob from both stores.
I think a more common one is, like I did this recently, a friend owns the game on his PS1, and the game wasn't working, and the controllers for the PlayStation weren't working, and the PlayStation itself wasn't working, and so we just emulated it. And we own everything.
Yeah.
It's just we're doing an illegal thing to make the legal thing work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that idea. It's like I actually do own all this stuff, so
yeah, like that VCMI thing I was talking about, where it recreates the game of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 in a different engine entirely.
Yeah,
it actually doesn't work unless you
own
Heroes of Might and Magic because it's just code. It doesn't have any images or sound or numbers or anything. It pulls those all out of the game. So they still want you to support the developers if you want to use their thing.
Yeah. You are listening to The Fool and the Philosopher. It's a weird thing, usage rights. You have a quite strong opinion about the copywriting should exist.
Yes, it definitely should. Actually, if you guys that are listening go onto YouTube and type in the copyright song, I actually made that song, and you should send me money for making it because it's pretty awesome. I'm considering making a couple more channels just to put it on, just to show how good it is, and I'll monetize them just because it's my song, and because basically my song says that I really like stealing stuff from other people and that you should be allowed to monetize stealing stuff.
No, it's not talking about stealing. It's saying if you steal someone else's bicycle, they don't have a bike, but if you have a copy of it, then it's good for both of you.
Yeah, and what if you're a bike manufacturer? You go out of business. Like that's seriously my problem with the whole copyright thing. Like, let's say you're an author and you write a book, and then everyone just copies it online digitally, and they're like, "Hey, we're not stealing anything. We haven't taken it from you." And then you can't sell a single copy, and so you stop writing because you can't afford to.
You don't even need to steal online. That happened in Tolkien.
Yeah, like you can have people write out copies and stuff.
Yeah, well, his book was copied in the United States because he didn't have a copyright for it in the United States, and it got really popular over there, and a bunch of people were making money, so he had to apply for copyright in the US, and then all the other copies had, like, from stores, had to be stopped being sold.
Yeah.
And a bunch of companies got a huge amount of trouble and had to give Tolkien and his family a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. And then his copies get published over there, but his books are really popular. Like, he wasn't making any money off them. It was a problem for several years for him.
So I think copyrights.
Yeah, I was just bringing that to razz you because you seem to have a strong opinion about the matter.
Yeah, well, I made a song about it. Even I had such a strong opinion.
Is it satirical? Is it like from the opinion of someone who?
Yeah, I got like someone else to animate it for me and to sing it for me and to like plan it out for me, and I just took ownership of it. I didn't actually do any of the work, but it's my song.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I copied it, so I didn't steal anything from the original creator. It's my song.
You are listening to The Fool and the Philosopher. Is that it? I think so. So, Epic Games, though, they own the Unreal Engine? Just slight tangent?
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. That's quite the engine, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they've got a good position for their store. They can probably get a lot of people signed on.
Yeah.
But I hope Steam does well, honestly. Like,
yeah.
I just...
Well,
because it's nice having everything in one place.
They started their steaming service as well, their games.
Yeah,
their streaming service, sorry.
Is that what I was talking about earlier, where you can basically...
Not the Messenger thing. Well, that is a Messenger, but yeah, you can it's like Twitch, basically. They've integrated in Steam.
Oh, so it's just you can just video yourself.
And stream it.
Okay.
However, my problem with it is it doesn't look as nice as Twitch. Like, it's Steam's colors, and I don't actually like being on Steam's page. It's so dark and bland looking. Like, Twitch has a nice purple, and Steam's just like gray.
It's the future of design, though. Like, Windows does that too. Well, it's not the future design, it's the current design.
Yeah.
In the future, we're probably going to go to something that actually looks nice.
Yeah, well, like, Twitch actually does look sort of nice. Like, it's a purple, vibrant thing. There's colors around it. You can see what you're looking at. It's very different because a lot of people record in darker areas. So it's like purple around it, and then it's a black box. Whereas the Steam games, it's like this black box against a gray background or a black background. You can't see anything.
Yeah, the current, like... software digital design seems to be towards flat colors and like dark colors, but it changes all the time.
Like the old video games, like the Heroes of Might and Magic game and Baldur's Gate, they had like the nice thunky buttons and stuff and the cool edge windows and
I think those things will always stay in fashion. Mm-hmm. Like there's the current trend that everyone's jumping on, but there's also the underlying trend, which is always good.
Yeah,
it's like in fashion,
it's like the flat caps, they're always good.
There's this sort of saying in fashion where it's like...
Flashing.
In fashion where it's...
Flashing is where you take off your clothes stylishly. It's fashionable.
Yeah, there's a saying in fashion. No, there's a saying in fashion. Something along the lines of like...
It's not illegal if you're in Sweden.
Like, I don't know how it goes, but it's something like... In 1960, red was the new black. In 1970, blue was the new black. In 1990... green was the new black. In 2000, yellow was the new black. In 2010, white was the new black. Black is always black.
Yeah.
Like, so there's always like the current trend, which is slightly better, is like the current color, but then black is always solid.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And I think with like computer games, there's that as well, where Baldur's Gate's like amazing menus and stuff. Mm-hmm. They're not the height of fashion, but they're always going to be solid no matter what.
Yeah, solid.
But if computers weren't on their way out, here's the thing.
Computer games are on the way out. They're just fad.
Well, yeah.
Reality's on the way out.
Sort of like computer games on the way out, because when was it? It was 1870, I think. There's the World Fair. They got the smartest people on Earth to predict what the future would be like 100 years from now.
Yeah.
And they made predictions like from our time, we'd say like cars, like rocket ships are going to be way more efficient and faster. Computers are going to run 10 times as fast. The internet's going to be instant. People are going to be able...
The World Fair, they didn't have the internet at that time.
No, I'm saying if we did the same prediction, what would the world look like in 100 years from now? So they did stuff like that. Like computers are going to be way faster. Cars are going to be incredibly fuel efficient. Mm-hmm. Solar panels are going to provide all the power we need.
Yeah.
Rocket ships are going to take you to the moon and back like in less than a day. Mm-hmm. All this sort of stuff. Whereas... what actually happened as the equivalent would be something more like...
We made teleporters.
Or we don't use computers anymore. We just have...
chips installed in our brains.
Well, no, because that's still thinking along the same line. It would be something else. Like, there's like organic servitors that know every answer that are... like, or something like that. Or like, there's a symbiosis developed with like a marine animal that...
We just inject ourselves with things that make us feel interested and happy.
Yeah. Like there's... Or... everyone joins like a psychic
football league,
like emotional, like the Earth becomes a hive mind or something. Like, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but we're thinking in the completely wrong direction when we think about the future, because stuff appears out of nowhere that people could never have predicted.
Except the waterbed.
Yeah, well, there's little things, but like societal changing things. And what you're doing is you're referencing what you're making a reference to is
what am I doing?
Is Heinlein, who what you're doing is making inside sort of references that no one will get, but what you're talking about is Heinlein.
what I'm doing is dispensing useless information to people who don't understand it.
Who had a waterbed in his books, which he called... I can't remember. And Heinlein wasn't the first, but his was the most accurately described to a waterbed. And then the inventor of the waterbed in the real world tried to get a copyright and couldn't because it was already in Heinlein's book from years before.
Oh.
So, yeah.
What is that weird thing where people make copyrights for stuff that aren't invented?
Yeah, that's...
Like that, that's just kind of gross. That shouldn't be legal.
It's called copyright trolling or something. I can't remember.
That shouldn't be legal.
Yeah, it really slows development in certain areas.
Like,
because people don't even bother.
Yeah, or you have to like wait 10 years to release your thing.
Yeah.
So the copyright's void.
Yeah, well, in general, what they do is they just want the money from it.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, I want someone else to build a prototype for me, and I'll just get this copyright in case it happens. And they'll try to be like specifically vague enough that they can get it, because they might not even. I don't know how like if you have to work it out slightly, or if you can just be like, teleporter, and I'm gonna copyright the teleporter.
I think that's not allowed.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna copyright the molecule transmitter. It's like a series of fiber optic cables in the shape of a person. You step against it, and then each point of contact like draws a line of molecules that are identical, and then prints them out on the other end, like something like that. Maybe, I don't know.
Once upon a time, there was a lad named Connor and his brother Cameron. They made a podcast called The Fool and the Philosopher. It was very good, anyways, and many people enjoyed it and were happy for it. And, well, I'll tell you that story another time. But for now, this is The Fool and the Philosopher.
Yeah, we talked about Canadian Harry Potter and like our houses and stuff.
Yeah.
There is a Canadian Harry Potter place. There's a school in the Harry Potter lore.
Oh, really?
I was on Pottermore the other day, and
isn't that like the First Nation Harry Potter or?
No, they're North American. But it's kind of like Canadian Harry Potter, and I forget what they're called.
Are they United States or Canada?
I don't know where they are. They're on so they're on top of Mount Thunder or something. I don't know where that is.
In Canada
or Greystone. No, that's called Mount Logan.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but so there's a Canadian Harry Potter.
Yeah, or North American anyways.
Yeah.
So it's probably Mexicans and Americans there too.
Yeah.
And I did the Pottermore test to see which house I would be in, and I was in Wumpus.
What's Wumpus?
I don't know what a Wumpus is, but I'm in House Wumpus. They're all based on mythological creatures.
Yeah.
Because it's based... This story is there was an Irish guy that went to Hogwarts. He came to North America, and he wanted to found his own school for witchcraft and wizardry. And he... So he did that, and he wanted to base it on Hogwarts. So he was like, I should have 4 houses.
It has houses as well, unlike the Russian school and the Chinese one, was it?
No, they were French or something.
French.
But as far as I remember, or as far as it's said in the books anyways, they don't have houses. They might have.
Are all the Russian ones, aren't all the Russian schools, people in the Russian schools are like evil?
No.
No?
No.
That's what I got from them in the movie and the books.
No, they're not at all.
No?
No.
They arrive on a boat and...
It's not evil.
It's like a black, evil, witchy boat.
Boats are evil.
Yes, they are. Vikings ride them.
Yeah. So yeah, the houses are Horned Serpent, Wumpus, Thunderbird, and some made-up word or something that made the founder smile. Because each of the house's founders had to choose like their favorite mythological creature, and one of them couldn't think of any, so he just said a word that made him smile or something.
So that's Hufflepuff? Or is
I guess so.
Hufflepuff? Because I have a feeling...
No, the Wumpus are like immortal, invincible, like lions or something.
So is that meant to be...
It's like Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. And Horned Serpent is Slytherin? And Thunderbird is...
Thunderbird might be more Slytherin, I'm not sure. Thunderbird's like power and might and stuff. Horned Serpent.
They're not exact parallels?
No, not quite.
No. But they're not like, Nashkalask, Wendigo, Moose.
Yeah. Yeah, not quite like that.
The Pottermore site can be slightly infuriating in some ways. It's kind of a clever design, though. How you can only ever log into it once, like with one account. So,
how you can only do a quiz once, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get your wand, you get your house,
and
then you're done.
Well, you also get your Patronus.
Patronus, yeah.
Yeah, I got a field mouse.
Nice. I got some sort of hunting dog. Pottermore also, they say some things.
Hmm?
Like, they keep adding lore, and it's not always what you want. Like, they said something like Hogwarts didn't have plumbing until the late 18th century, and before then, wizards would just relieve themselves where they stood.
What?
And then, like, vanish it with a wand. Like, that's so horribly barbaric and disgusting. Like, that's what I saw anyways. I hope it's fake. But I don't think it is.
I thought you were talking about like that thing, this Smosh did, to where it's talking about how...
Well, that's what Smosh did, that making fun of basically what Pottermore does. Is they keep adding these lore bits that just
the whole
ruin
thing, like,
your love of the series.
Neville's a furry was the one line.
Yeah. But it's more like, yeah, I guess that's like unnecessary information. But it's just they do stuff that can take away from the magic and ruin it in some ways. Which, I don't know where they...
Or it's just unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't know if it's all J.K. Rowling or she has a team that's
insane,
trying to ruin her or something. I don't know. Try to ruin like a cherished thing.
Yeah, well, it's not for the fans; it's for her.
Can I go onto Steam on the Google? Does that work?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking...
Oh, no, you've ruined it all!
Have I?
No.
It's still going?
Yes.
Because we were talking about Dungeon Lords earlier.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be interesting to read the reviews because they're very I found them very...
Interesting?
I was trying to think of another word so I didn't repeat myself, yeah.
Very enlightening?
Yeah, they're something else.
Yeah.
This guy says, so he's talking about the Steam version of the game that we said avoid and get the original.
Yeah.
And he said, fans of the old Dungeon Lords, this version's better than the MMXII version, which is the one we also said don't get.
Yeah.
But if there was a bug or glitch in the original version, it's quite possible that's still there and wasn't fixed. However, the game is more accessible. There's finally tooltips and spells. A quest log gives you some hints where to go. And the randomized loot is quite interesting. So there's several positive changes. However, maybe it should be better to wait some more weeks and see if... So this was back when it first came out. Newcomers who have never heard of this game, it's probably better to skip this one. There are better RPGs out there. It has its own charm, quite trashy and retro. But finding positive things, you have to dig deep in a game full of bulky and weird systems and design choices.
Oh lord, this game is like undead. It was a bit
rotten the first time it was released in 2005 and full of bugs. Afterwards it came back in an improved version, still a buggy mess. And some years after it returned from its grave in the MMXII version. Did I mention the bugs? And that had improved systems, official claim, and some nice function additions. However, at the same time, they also screwed up the once good leveling and magic system and removed interesting features like identification, the whole exploring aspect, or the penalty systems. For most of the other ones who have never played or even heard of Dungeon Lords, probably 85%, skip it. There's better stuff out there. Way better stuff. There are too many bad design decisions and bulky systems to bother with, until you may see some positive aspects. However, the RPG has definite potential for some hilarious and funny times, and if it only be due to bugs, glitches, or weird things happening, and you raging about everything. So yeah, basically this guy says, don't buy the game, get the disc version.
Yeah.
Because they ruined how the mages work. And then this guy says, I'm Chinese, and I like this game very much, because it's the first RPG I've played. I will always remember that in my first time killing a wild dragon by throwing a knife, it took him about 30 minutes to kill the dragon, which is exactly what I did when I played that game. And it's a very messy game, but it has charm. But it was basically what I noticed. I couldn't find them, but everyone's first experience was basically the same as ours. Like, I just cheesed killing this dragon. The bugs were hilarious. I was able to do all this crazy stuff. The game was stupid and wacky, and
it takes too long to walk.
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy and fun all the same.
Yes.
You are listening to Through the Woods We Ran by Vindsvept. You are also listening to The Fool and the Philosopher, because this is just an intermediary music piece. Intermissionary? It's a music piece in between bits where we stop talking coherently and I need to cut it. So that's that.
So I had this really interesting idea over the holidays, and I'm not sure if this is the podcast for it or not.
It's very profound.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It was I need a better word than interesting.
Profound?
No.
Insightful?
No, it was interesting. No, it was interesting.
Mm.
You need to use synonyms of interesting, like
Scintillating.
is that a
Yes.
Yeah.
Scintillating. Arousing.
anyways?
Cognitizing.
Yeah, maybe it's better on its own. Or like it was.
It was like a tree, but also like itself, wholly entirely, nothing to its own, yet different in so many ways.
And it was an answer to Romney, who we had on last time.
Mm.
So last time we had on Romney, and I talked about my infinite stare idea, and he said that either philosophy is useless, or it is wrong, basically, or it's just subjective.
Yeah.
And so I was listening to this priest and rabbi talk on...
Priest and rabbi sounds like the start of a joke.
Yeah, well, they were... Yeah, so there's this priest and rabbi, they were talking on Reuben Report.
Yeah.
And they were talking about worship, and the priest said that everyone on earth holds something in highest value. That's what worship means, because worship is worthship, something that you view worthy of...
Shipping.
No, like, ship is like about. So you'd have like seamanship is about like the acts of being at sea or being a sea, or like you could say like firemanship or something if you wanted, which would be about being a fireman or something.
Yeah, apprenticeship.
Yeah, so worship is like worthship.
Yeah.
Like of possessing worth.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, so everyone worships something. They have something of their highest value. And what that is often, he says, like, religion has gone down to, like, 30% or something in the United States. And he's obviously biased in favor of Catholicism, that he wants it to continue. But
he's a priest?
Yeah, he was a bishop.
Ah.
But he actually said he's okay with really any religion as long as people are worshipping. Mm. And the idea is really interesting because you have, if you hold something, so everyone holds something in highest value was his idea. Yeah. And so that thing is often something like your moral philosophy or your group or your beliefs. So it could be something like Canadians or Canada is my highest value or something, let's say. Or it could be something like my community is my highest value, or you should not kill is the highest value, or being a good person is my highest value.
Yes.
Like something like that even. And he says those all lead to misery and destruction of your character and self because it's not enough, it's not strong enough. Your ideals will fail. Like Canada will do something stupid. You will fail to be good. Your moral system won't work sometimes.
So as Romney put, don't be a dick, you'll be a dick.
Yeah. If you hold that as your highest value, it will fail. So instead, you can worship the ultimate undeniable truth of the universe or something like that. You could call it God, but you can also call it like Kant's ideals or something like that. Or you could call it just the universe. And so if that is your highest value, then everything you do is either towards that goal or away from that goal. Mm-hmm.
But the goal itself can't be wrong.
Yeah, and also, and even more importantly, that goal is something, it is the same that the universe is working as it should, because you are worshipping the flow of fate, you're worshipping the flow of time, you're worshipping the unexpressible truth that you can only approach but never arrive at. You could say something like, a kid is born, and you could say, okay, let's call the truth. Well, I saw this movie, it was called Shaolin. Yeah. And when a general gave up war, the head of the temple said, "Praise Buddha." Like he did like a pose and said, "Praise Buddha," because a great thing had happened, or it wasn't a great thing. That had happened. And later on, one of his monks dies. He's killed by a misfire from a soldier. Yeah. And he bends over the monk's body and he says, "Praise Buddha," in the exact same way. And later his temple is burning to the ground and he says, "Praise Buddha." And he gets killed at one point and he's like dying and he says, "Praise Buddha." And so all the stress and worry has gone away from him of everything because he isn't investing that in something fallible. He's just saying, here, look, this is life. I'm worshipping life. There's good, there's bad. I've worshipped I'm worshiping the flow of, there's a truth here, I don't know what it is, but I worship that.
Yeah.
And so that is what you could call God. And so it made me wonder if that is, and so the difference between Jews and Christians apparently in this, the Christian, the Jewish, the rabbi was able to say was that Jews say there's this unobtainable thing out there that you can worship and look at, and we humans are imperfect. Whereas Christianity says Christ's sacrifice brought that perfection into ourselves, and so humans are God. Like we have divinity within us, and so you could call that thing out there divinity.
Yeah.
And so the difference is that the Jews say you can't bring divinity within you. Divinity is out there. And it's... So when we were talking about how Nietzsche said God is dead, we must become gods ourselves, Christianity's answer was sort of actually become God. Mm-hmm. They said, like, we contain this goodness within us. We contain the order of the universe as it should be.
Yeah.
Whereas Jews say, we have no idea, but it's out there.
Yeah.
Which is a lot easier to accept in a way. Yeah. You're like, I have no idea if things are happening.
You're not responsible when you're not good.
Well,
it's kind of a shirking of responsibility almost.
No, not at all. No, because you don't... Not at all. You're trying to obtain an ideal. You're trying to work within the flow of the universe, and everything is as the universe is. So,
okay, I get that. But, so is this your idea? Or a thought you had? Something you observed?
So it's the answer to Romney's...
What's the point of philosophy?
No, where he said philosophy is... Yeah, sort of. He said either philosophy is useless or it is subjective.
Yeah.
But you can have an objective philosophy that is correct. Like, let's say Kant's philosophy. Kant's philosophy might not be, but we'll say it is.
Yeah.
Just the foundation.
Yeah.
Where if you want a law must be universal.
Yes.
So, and then you can just say, that is what I worship, is the ideal.
Yeah.
And so then what that means is something bad happens. There is that... You need something to... Like, we talk in ways that attribute stuff to fate. So... For instance, there's like, spitting death in the eye or something. Like, you're showing the world, like, you tried to beat me down, I won't get beat down, or I've been tested and I've proven myself. You need someone, you're talking to someone when you do that.
Yeah. And
that doesn't mean it's anyone. Like, it's more of a thing than a... Well, it's not a thing. It's less of a thing than... you need like this...
Staircase.
No, it's like...
That's infinite.
See, the infinite staircase is good, but it has to go somewhere, right? And so this is where it's going. This is where the staircase goes, in a way. But it's also like, okay, how about this? You're walking up the infinite stair, and it suddenly, like, twists back and down, and then it goes down for, like, 100 feet before it goes up again. The correct path is to follow it down, even though it's meant to go up.
Yeah.
So it's like, you can... It made sense to me for like a brief second. I was doing the dishes while I came to this idea. And it made sense to me for a brief second in like a single sentence. And I quickly dried my hands to try to like run right down the sentence, and it sort of faded as I was writing it down. So it's like
and after the writing stopped and the ink dried, I saw the words on the piece of paper. It said, "Praise Buddha."
Yeah. Like, do you get that? Like when you... The idea of saying, like, thank God or praise Buddha, like when you... Or let's say someone... Like, there's a plane crash. Everyone survives. And you're right outside there, and your friends and family come out and you're like, thank you. Like, that sort of thing. You don't have to be thanking God as in the Christian God. You're just thanking.
Yeah.
And that thing you thank isn't a thing. It's just... You're thanking the universe, in a way.
Yeah.
And so that is your thing of worship, which makes the system work.
So atheists are insane.
No, because, well, atheists don't really exist, I guess, under this definition. Because,
well, yeah, someone said that. And
everyone worships. Because atheist means without worship, right?
Yeah.
And everyone worships. It's just what they worship, in a way, I guess. Like that, I don't know, it's a lot to attribute that to someone, to say everyone worships. But I think I don't know, it seems fairly fair to say... It's hard to explain.
I see what you mean if you didn't know if this was for this.
No, it was more that... Well,
I'm sorry, it's just like when you start talking about stuff like this, your CPU starts overheating and you just start lagging out. Like, it's literally, I feel like you're lagging out trying to process all the information coming out of your mouth.
Well, it's more I'm trying to explain it. I can't think of ways to explain it. Because it's tricky. Like, when you worship, like, you need... Look, if things are going wrong in your life,
Yep.
and you just stop and say, like, praise Buddha. Like, right now, let's say, this...
He's not talking, praise Buddha.
No. Not, he stopped talking. No, like, let's say I am in pain, and I'm too hot, and my throat is dry, praise Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, something like that. Like, it's...
I don't have to say praise Buddha for a positive thing, too.
Yeah, you can say for positive, but what I'm saying is that's obvious.
Yeah.
So I don't need to explain that part.
But you thank the universe for the good and the bad because the universe is still there?
No, because you don't know if it's good or bad.
Mm.
You just thank the universe for... You don't even thank the... You're just saying... You're basically saying everything is going as it should. Which is not to say that there's a plan to anything. It's more like... Look, the universe is infinitely bigger than us, right?
Yep. I don't know about you. But...
So this is the life we are living.
Yeah.
I'm living this life. That's what you're saying. I am living this life. You're like, wow, I'm living this life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every moment, up and down, it's just you're living this life. Like,
yeah,
that's
I kind of got that. I got
the,
that right away.
And so if you make that the unknowable truth, so, like, if there's, the line of the piece of paper that you can't tear in half, right?
Yeah.
Like, that you can't draw, like, the center of that line is your worship. And that's what you spin around as you try to... Like, okay, this might take more than 3 dimensions, but... So there's, like, a line that you're spinning around, right? And this line is the thing you worship. This is the ultimate truth, the unknowable truth.
I think I got what you're saying, Cameron.
And so you wobble back and forth on either side of the line.
Yeah.
But you can never touch the line. And that wobbling is you walking up the stair. So it's like a spiral staircase around a pillar, but the staircase walks through the pillar without ever touching it.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets closer to the pillar every time it passes through it.
Yeah.
And that pillar is God. Like, you can call it God. Because God's the word and I think I don't know, but I think that might be the core of... Because I've never really understood religion.
Yep.
But I think that might be the core of religion, is this idea of saying... Well, I think there's 2 aspects. I think there's people that are just... The world doesn't make sense unless someone gave it meaning.
Unless someone's pushing the buttons.
Yeah, unless someone gives meaning, then life doesn't make sense. So God is actually an explanation, which is funny because we often say that science and religion are opposites. But in reality, they're both desperate for meaning. Like religious people and like super scientific people are sometimes just looking for fun. Yeah. I think I once said that it was like religious people are looking for like heaven after life. The scientific people have already found heaven on Earth, like, and philosophers aren't sure if either exists or something. I can't remember, but it wasn't bad.
I once said,
I might be repeating myself, and it's my thoughts. So yeah. I find that I can write stuff better than I can say stuff. So quoting myself helps myself speak.
Okay.
Because you can write better than you talk, right?
I don't know.
Because you can like go back and change what you've written.
Yeah, but things you say in the moment kind of like oomph. It's like feeling the music in your bones, you know?
Yeah, it's like how you can find like you can develop metaphors that you weren't expecting to have, like the infinite stare, which can be quite useful.
A little secret between you and me. You see, Cameron takes a very long time to say anything, and so I have to edit out all the spaces in between that. I'm happy doing that, because it makes this better for everyone.
So I guess it's just
praise Buddha.
Yeah, kind of. But I don't know if I explained myself or not.
I don't know, this philosophy seems a little too uplifting. I'm expecting depressing philosophy at this point, not uplifting.
Well, it's like religious people, right? Like they need meaning, but this thing, you can praise God without there being any meaning because the universe is so big that it doesn't care about you.
Yeah.
Right? So you're just saying, "Hey, I'm a cog in the machine that is reality." And praise Buddha. I recognize that. I am this insignificant speck in the universe, praise Buddha, sort of thing. Like you're just like, thank God I am meaningless and I'm a part of... Like, here's the thing, right? Let's say the universe is a machine.
Yeah.
Every single... And time is the cogs that build the machine. So an event, like let's say World War II, is a cog in the machine. Yeah. And that cog has tons of little cogs, all the people that turn the cog, and all the environmental factors, and the Earth spinning around the sun is a cog. And they all influence each other somehow. They're like, these cogs got cogs on cogs that can...
Yeah.
And you say... Hey, the machine's running. Like, this is the universe.
Kind of pointless.
It's like, but it's not. It's the opposite of pointless.
It is the point.
It's ultimate.
It is.
It's ultimate meaning. It's the truth. This is the truth. This is what you like. You know the Platonic ideal of like a perfect chair or a perfect sandwich or something.
Yeah.
That is what you worship.
You worship the perfect perfection.
You worship the perfect sandwich, right? Like you're worshiping the perfect sandwich.
Yep.
And you say like like if you were a cell in a body and a cell besides you dies, you say praise Buddha because that is the body in action. You're watching the universe think. Like Alan Watts said that the universe is like reality is the universe playing hide and seek with itself.
Yep.
Something like that. Like that is, you're like a bacteria looking for the perfect sandwich. No, that's not.
You're a bacteria on the perfect sandwich, and all the bacteria must be purged from the perfect sandwich so that it can be eaten by the perfect being.
No.
Purge the perfect sandwich. All life must die.
But it's like the perfect sandwich is out there, right? Like
I see how fanaticism happens. And that's why we need to destroy the internet, because it brings people together who want to purge the perfect sandwich.
But the problem, yeah, exactly. Like these people, their meaning is in their craziness. Like they're like the inverted helicopter parrots are what matter, right? Like
no, the perfect sandwich is what matter. We were just bacteria that need to be purged.
Yeah, but they don't understand that it's the perfect sandwich, and so, but our way is to redemption. So we have to eliminate the helicopter parrot people, so that they. But that's the thing. That's the wrong lesson because. That's totally wrong, because you're not if you are working to purge anything, you are not worshiping the perfect sandwich, because
I don't think you understand, Cameron. In your purging, you worship it.
No, by purging, you are no longer worshiping the sandwich. You're worshiping your purge.
The purge is the sandwich.
No, it's not though, because the sandwich is unknowable. Because
the sandwich is known.
No, because perfection is unknowable, and the only way it can be perfect is if it's unknown. Like
the sandwich is known, though. It is the purge. The purge is the sandwich.
Right. So like
the sandwich must be pure.
Like
otherwise, the perfect being might get a perfect tummy ache, and he doesn't want a perfect tummy ache.
Yeah, like the perfect sandwich, right? Is like you.
It's covered in imperfection, even though it itself is perfect.
Yes, and you have to leave the imperfection or it's not the perfect sandwich anymore.
You have to get rid of the imperfection so that the perfect being doesn't get a tummy ache.
No, because there is no perfect being. The perfect being is the perfect sandwich.
No, the perfect being eats the perfect sandwich.
No, because they are one and the same, because you're worshipping everything.
I don't think we're talking about the same religion here.
I'm not talking about religion.
Oh, sorry.
Because anytime you try to add anything to it, you're strained from it. Which is why I think that, like, you can have a story that helps you with it. Like my story is The Lord of the Rings and the Infinite Stair. That helps you with it. That doesn't mean that you should burn all rings in volcanoes. That's the...
It sounds like a good idea.
Like, if I said, like, here is a way that you can live life in a way that you can worship everything and be content. Mm-hmm. And the way to get there is through understanding The Lord of the Rings and how Gandalf succeeded in climbing the Infinite Stair.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that the Lord of the Rings, everything they say, is how reality should function. That is totally wrong. The whole thing was a metaphor. So what I'm saying is, I think that the Bible is a story that tells you about
the perfect sandwich.
God,
But the
Which is a
story
perfect sandwich.
itself is not God.
And
It's just a way to help. It's a path to help you see God. The Bible is a finger pointing at the moon, and religious people are staring at the finger.
the moon's a sandwich.
Yes.
And the sun wants to eat it.
No.
But the moon is covered in...
No, the moon is the sun.
The moon
No,
is...
in this case, the sun would also be the moon.
You lost it.
Everything is the moon,
Okay. Everything is the moon.
and you're pointing at the moon.
So you're pointing at yourself.
Yes.
However, you're staring at your finger, which is also the moon.
But-
so you're staring at the moon
No,
when you stare at your finger.
So staring at your finger is part of the moon, but your finger itself is pointing in the wrong direction.
So it's like staring at a clock hand and not actually looking at the time.
Yeah. But you're still looking at the clock. Yeah. That works.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because
But I still got it.
you just need like more dimensions, sort of, or just like a better metaphor.
Yeah.
I think more dimensions makes it easier.
No.
You ever thought in like 4 dimensions or something?
No, it's not possible.
Yeah, it is. Like, okay, imagine like this sphere, right?
Like a sphere.
Like a lumpy sphere. So it's not a sphere. It's more like a rhombus or something, right? But like a
Rhombuses are 2D. You're
yeah,
going
but
backward.
like a polygon, like a 3D rhombus sort of thing.
Okay.
And then it suddenly like becomes like round, and then it becomes like hexagonal, and then it becomes round again, and then it becomes a rhombus again, and then it disappears. That could be a 4-dimensional banana moving through this space. Because if you had, like, imagine a piece of paper, right? And you have a banana moving through it, okay? And imagine you live on the piece of paper. If you're staring at the banana, first you'll see, like, the knobbly bit at the end of the banana, which looks kind of rhombusy, so that'll appear in front of you. And then as you pull the banana through the paper, you'll see, like, a disc, and then, or like a hexagon, and then you pull that through the paper, and it'll go back, and then it'll disappear. Because that's a 3-dimensional object moving through 2 dimensions. So,
What does the color red look like to blind people?
they don't see it?
But if you describe the color red to someone
Yeah,
who's blind,
you're right.
how would you? They're devoid of all senses, but you can still describe it to them somehow.
Right. I don't think you can, because the color red doesn't exist. Like, it's like, like everything doesn't exist, right? There's no reality except your perceptions. Like, this table isn't solid. The table just feels solid. That's a receptor going back. That's like pressure.
No, it's solid.
But it's like, this doesn't exist.
It does.
This is just a bunch of, like, the colors and everything, they don't exist. Like, imagine you're blind, right? And you have incredible hearing. Like, insanely good hearing.
Okay.
Like a bat or something.
Yeah.
And you do sonar all the time. And your sonar is way better than a bat sonar.
Yeah.
That could be right now. Like, everything would look the same, because it would tell you, like, oh, this bit of wood's a slightly different consistency, so I'm going to get a slightly different image for that. And so your brain's going to map it to you in a way you can understand. And then you can abuse that system and say, like, hey, when, like, a wood is a different hardness, it changes what I call color, but that's just a different hardness rating. But that's also that's an albedo property, that's light reflection, that's a radiation reflection and absorption property. But I can use different radiation absorption properties to, like, have a pencil draw on a piece of paper and create writing. And so I can
Okay, yeah, I
use the
understand.
system. So it doesn't exist.
And neither does your 4-dimensional banana.
So it's like, sometimes it makes you think, you know?
I don't know what you're thinking about. That doesn't make sense.
Like, sometimes I just think in 4 dimensions, like, or I think in 3 dimensions with a 4th dimensional being passing through, and I think about how, like, but here's the other thing, right? Like, I think you could beat a 4-dimensional being in a fight pretty easily. I think you could just punch them, and they, like, die. Because if you're fighting a 2-dimensional being, right? That means it's infinitely thin, so it's like the sharpest possible object.
Why is your mind immediately go to fighting it?
I'm just saying. There was a comic book I saw where a guy fights a 4-dimensional being, and I thought he did it wrong. No, I think that's how he actually beats it, is he just touches it in the end. But it's like... But
now the wizard is seen behind the veil, and the real reason you're just complaining about a comic.
But No, it's like no, the comic's fine, but it's like it's by Alan Moore, the guy that did Watchmen and all those, A V for Vendetta, all that.
Okay.
Last joke, Killing Joke. But like if you take this,
Lug
nut or something, and like if I rotate it and it changes shape, that could just be a 4-dimensional object, right?
Sure.
Like if the 2-dimensional being grabbed that banana and rotated it, it would suddenly grow longer to them because it was like turning sideways, right? So if they took this round little disc in the air and then they rotated it, it would grow longer and suddenly like go for miles in both directions. They'd be like, what? How did that happen? And so I don't know. Just sometimes it's interesting to think about. Like I think like you could like shape shifting and Cthulhu's Beasts and all that sort of stuff could just be explained with like not Cthulhu's. What am I saying? Lovecraft's like sort of
Cthulhu's Beast. Culture has no meaning. Like it all dissolves into nothingness. Like the internet is dead.
You could have like this horrific shape that doesn't make sense to you because it's just moving towards you, and as it does so, like bits appear and disappear and like change shape because it's actually just like really normal looking, but it's moving through space, so it's really warped. I'm not saying that would.
So's your mind.
I don't think Lovecraft is right about stuff driving you insane. Like
I think people with warped minds are thinking in 4 dimensions, and their mind looks really warped to everyone else because they're just in 4 dimensions.
So,
and they can't interact with society because of that.
Well, it's just interesting to think about, but it was more about like because it's useful for like
thinking about
like gears that can interact on themselves.
Ah, that's why I saw. So the cogs of your machine work.
Yeah.
Your cogs in the perfect infinite sandwich.
Yeah, because when they rotate, they rotate a different gear that is also them. Yeah.
The perfect infinite sandwich's bread is raisin bread.
It all makes sense. But it is because you're worshipping the universe. Right? Because I said the universe is like raisin bread in time and dimensions. And then, but if it's all linked together, that means it must be true.
But it's just one giant raisin that if it's all linked together.
This is how religions form. But that's the thing. The moment you form a religion that says you should do something beyond worship your God, you're doing it wrong. And even then, you shouldn't say you should worship your God. You should say, the way to live is to worship my God. That's it. If you try to do anything else, you failed. But you can be like, well, I'm going to help that. My kid doesn't understand, so I'm going to beat it into him.
So you're saying that the Buddhists have a pretty pure religion?
The Zen Buddhist, yes. Buddhism is actually quite complicated. Like, it has, like, a million gods. And, like,
but the Zen Buddhism, like, praise Buddha?
Yeah. Like, the original Buddhism, even. But
drink tea and eat sandwiches?
Because, like, Buddha was all about suffering. He's like, there's an 8-fold path of suffering, and life is suffering, and once you realize that, you can start fixing that, and you get reincarnated over and over again until you've reached nirvana. No, that was Hinduism or something. Yeah. But he was Hindu, right? So he was influenced by it heavily. Mm-hmm. So I think, like, Zen Buddhism's a lot closer. And so, yeah, I guess...
So, should start a Church of the Sandwich. Which is...
So you're climbing this infinite stair to get to the sandwich made of the bread of the universe, basically. Yeah.
Bread of the universe. Wow. Climbing the infinite stair to get to the sandwich made of the bread of the universe.
Yeah.
That is quite the image.
Yeah. And
and the Balrogs try to get the sandwich before you.
And the bread is made of gears, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually,
no. The innards are made.
Well, actually, though, you follow the Balrog up the stair, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Because...
It's corrupted knowledge.
Corrupted knowledge precedes you on the way to the infinite stair. But
the Balrog is all the...
At the top, you will defeat it.
Yeah, but the Balrog's like all the extra stuff in religion.
Yeah. It always comes ahead because the moment you try to define the perfect sandwich, you've already corrupted it. Yeah, so the corrupted knowledge has to be there ahead of you.
Yeah.
But if you keep following the Balrog, it gives you the chance at the end of infinity to defeat him. Yeah. And then you will have
the perfect sandwich.
The perfect sandwich made of the bread of the universe.
Yes.
I don't even know. I don't even know. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's what this podcast needed more of. The start was a little slow. It was kind of... We'll have to cut out the first half.
I don't know. I liked a lot of the first half. It got sort of slow in the middle. It's like a sandwich.
You'll have to cut out the middle bit.
It's like you have to get rid of the cheese.
Yeah. Well, no, but the cheese is the best part. Maybe we should do like.
We both can't have it.
Yeah. So let's just have the stuffing. Except, like, well, it's more dimensions, right? So you rotate the sandwich in, like, a fifth dimension, and then the stuffing's on the outside.
Are you saying you want me to put the beginning, the middle at the beginning?
No, I'm saying if you delete the middle, then it's still work. Then you've deleted the outside.
Yeah, but then we won't know how you got to the sandwich.
Well, no, you can, like, we can get to the sandwich. Like, it's just people are going to turn off from the important bits if we don't get rid of the beginning or the middle or wherever it was slow. We got to speed it up a little so that people get, you know, like. No one wants to walk up the infinite stair. They want to take the infinite escalator, right?
But that's against the purpose.
Yes, but you can't hide the infinite stair from them, right? We're hiding it behind a wall of bad Dungeon Lords review reading.
Yeah, well, that was your fault.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying we should cut out all my bits before the infinite staircase of sandwiches. And
Oh no, some bits were good before then.
it'll have to be heavily edited. But it's fine. I'm also don't know how to shave anymore, so it's okay.
What? You don't know how to shave anymore?
It's fine.
No, I want. Why don't you know how to shave anymore?
Because I'm not supposed to get hairs down the sink, and I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I could use a bowl and like with water in it, but it sounds like a lot of work.
You're not meant to get hairs down the sink?
Yeah, apparently. I don't think that's true. Like
I told you that.
Mom said that, but I don't think that's true. Like, I don't know.
You just have to pour acid down the sink every once in a while.
Yeah, that's not. No, I don't think that's causing any issues or anything.
Well,
but
what you do, Cameron, is you make it so your beard grows out so long that you can just like cut the hair off and you like tie it in ribbons. And then
I just do what I want. That's what I'll do. What's Mom know? She doesn't know nothing. How often does she shave her face? Rarely, if ever, I bet. Yeah.
Waxes it.
Yeah, maybe.
Ow. Apparently you can get face waxings.
Yeah, well, people do all the time. Like, women grow facial hair. It's just lighter and slower.
But if you say something about it, they get really mad at you.
Well, it's not also all of them, I think. But the other thing is, because women don't shave their faces, they tend to actually have longer facial hair than men, because men go right down to the skin, whereas women have, like, really light peach fuzz sort of thing.
Yeah, well, there's a person I know who has, like, really dark hair, and I know she had quite a fine mustache. And so I told her she had quite a fine mustache.
Come on, that's terrible. Don't do that.
I know.
Don't do that. That's awful. Poor person.
Yeah.
Oh man, you don't do that.
That isn't the bread. I mean, that is the bread. Praise Buddha. Yeah. Everything is the bread. That's a thing, right?
No, that's the sandwich. It's not. Cameron, there is no. The bread contains a sandwich.
The bread is the sandwich, and it contains it. It's like, you know how like the universe contains itself and is everywhere. Like it's well, the universe is everywhere, but everywhere still has a limit because the universe contains itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go to infinity, you go to the center.
Yeah.
Which is actually fairly easy to do. Think about it. If you have a circle, right?
Yep.
And you walk an infinite distance around its perimeter.
Yeah.
You end up on the circle.
Yep. And that's why I'm the center of the universe.
Yeah. So, I think we'll wrap it up here with a thought, all right?
All right.
So, once upon a time, people thought that... No, that's... You can't do the music. Don't do it.
No, I'm just saying it's going to cut you out.
No. You don't... All right, so let's end with a thought, okay?
All right.
Yeah, that was a good one. No, so here.
Yeah, you're just getting cut out if the music's starting to play. You're running out of time. You know, like, oh, there's the music playing us out.
But you should do that. You can't do it with your voice because then you can't do it on the track. It's weird. But right. So once upon a time, right, we thought that the world went forever.
Yes.
And then we learned more about the universe and thought that the world had was flat and you'd fall off the world if you went too far.
Mm-hmm.
Then one day we learned the world was round.
Yeah.
And you could keep going forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people were young, and when we had no conception of death, we thought life went on forever.
Yeah.
Then we learned life had an end. In the future,
You'll die.
No. You're missing it.
I can cut out before I said you die. I can do what I want. It's death.
But it's not about. But see, death is a point on the infinite circle. Is what I'm saying.